It's week 13 on Mounjaro. There's been a few interesting developments that I'm going to tell you all about. So stay with me, guys. Hi guys, thank you so much for joining me here today on this video. My name is Angela, so thank you for coming and spending a little time out with me today. So guys, I've been on Mounjaro for 13 weeks. Yeah, where has the time gone? I know I keep saying that every time I do a video, but honestly, it's flown. So in this video today, I'm going to share with you some ups and downs that I've had this week, and also an important update from my medical team. So stay tuned, guys. I'll tell you all about it. So guys, if you're new here, then thank you so much for being here. If you've just found me today, then thank you for clicking on that video, and if you've been here before, then it's great to have you back. So guys, let me get straight into this video and tell you all about week 13. So, and this is now my first month. I was on 2.5 like everybody else, and then months 2 and 3 I was on 5 milligrams, and I've just started my third box of 5 milligrams, so my fourth box altogether. Okay, so we're now in week 13, and up until now I've had really minimal side effects. I mean, the biggest side effect, let me tell you, has been weight loss. Let's not underestimate that. That's the biggest weight loss. Sorry, that's the biggest side effect. But other side effects, like a few burps and, you know, a little bit of sickness, those have all settled now. So one of the other things that I had, which is important for me to share with you, is about the food noise. When I was on 2.5 milligrams, my starter dose, I inject on a Saturday, and I had strong food noise for most of the week, and then come Thursday and Friday, that food noise was coming back, and I was feeling just a little bit hungry. It wasn't nothing major, but just a little bit hungrier than normal. And by Friday, I was feeling like, oh, I can eat a really big plate of food. So, and then by the time I had my next injection on the Saturday, the food noise quietened, and then I was fine all week. And then again, Thursday, Friday, it would just creep back a little bit. When I went up to 5 milligrams, it shut it down completely, shut it down. And I really wasn't hungry. And I found that I had to just really be conscious and almost force myself to eat. Otherwise, I could just go all day without eating, which I know isn't good, because I need the nutrition. My body needs fuel. So that was happening on the 5 milligram. This, where were we? We're week 12. And week 11 and 12, I was just noticing that the food noise was just creeping back, just that tiny little bit. Not as much as it did on the 5 milligram, but just a tiny bit. And I would just find myself that little bit hungrier. And usually it was in the evenings, and also when I'm cold. So I've had to stop and think, is it genuinely because I'm hungry, or is it because I'm cold? The weather's been vile. The weather's been really cold, really nasty, windy. We've had storms, we've had snow. It's been really cold. I can't tolerate the cold because of my health condition. So I've really struggled with that, but also because I've been feeling unwell. I have a number of health conditions, and I've been really poorly with that. So I've had to think about, is it because I feel unwell and because I am cold that my body is naturally going back to that time where I would have just had that comfort food, and my body wants to go back to that? Or is it the Mounjaro loosening its effectiveness just that little bit? So I've had to think about that, and if I'm honest, I think it was not the Mounjaro. I think it was about how I was feeling really unwell, wanting to be warm, and just wanting those comfort foods. So when I've had the comfort foods like the soup, and I've, you know, made like, you know, I've gone back and made some Johnny cakes, which is like what I grew up on, and I've had those comfort foods, that satisfied me, really satisfied me. And the food noise just kind of again disappeared. I think it's easy just to jump and say, oh, everything's Mounjaro, it's the medication. But I've been on my journey now for just over 6 years, and I'm good at listening, but I'm still learning, and I'm still every day having to listen really carefully to my body and what my body is saying. So yeah, I don't think it's because of the Mounjaro. I think it is just my body, the time of year, how I'm feeling, my emotions, all of that, just wanting that. And I'll give you an example of that. Last week, I just wanted something sweet, so because it was perishing. So I went to Lidl and I bought a donut. I love Lidl's donuts, the jam donuts, and one of their chocolate brownies. I'm lying. I bought 2. Be honest, Angela. I bought 2. See, some of those old habits are still there. You know, the denial. I bought 2. I bought 2 jam donuts, and I bought 2 chocolate brownies. There is a reason for it. It's because my son was here, and I thought I'll buy 2, one for him, one for me. Well, he didn't want it. He's like, you know, we're going on holiday, he's working on the summer body, he didn't want it. I thought, okay. So I ate the 1 jam donut, really enjoyed it, and I was really proud of myself, because I remember the days where I would have bought 4 and eaten 1 before I left Lidl's car park, eaten the second one on the way home, and then got home and polished the other 2 off. I would have done that, but I didn't. Honestly, I didn't. So had 2, one for me, one for him. He didn't want it, so I saved mine till in the evening. And you might have seen I did a little shorts about having my donut, and then the next day I had the other one. And then my brownies, I also did a shorts a few days later, where I had the brownie as an afternoon treat. And this is God's honest truth, I've still got the other brownie in the cupboard. It's been there now a week. I've still got it downstairs. I haven't touched it. And you know, I keep looking and thinking, I need to eat this because it's going to go stale. Just not wanted it. So it's still sitting there. So yeah, you know, what I've learned is that even on Mounjaro, when I'm still listening to my body, and my body wanted the sweet treats because I think I was cold and just needed that comfort treat, I gave it to my body. I had it, and once I did that, I was over that. So yeah, you know, I think for me, just because I'm on this medication, I'm not going to be throwing caution to the wind. I'm not just going to be, you know, eating all manner of things. I'm still having my healthy habits that I've built up, that I've got, that becoming the norm for me. Because last week's video was, is Mounjaro my new normal? And I'm going to talk about that in a minute, because I would have said yes. This is becoming my new normal. However, let me just jump straight into it. So I found that my GP to speak to my diabetic nurse, because they're the ones that put me on Mounjaro, and I was told, oh, you don't need to speak to her, you can speak to the pharmacist. And I said, well, is the pharmacist going to be able to order my, you know, HbA1c blood test? apparently pharmacists can do all sorts these days. So they said, yes, you know, he's the one that's prescribing, you know, the Mounjaro for you, and also he can do your blood test. I was like, okay. So he booked me an appointment for Friday gone. So sure enough, he gave me a call. And he said, oh, how are you getting on? And I told him, doing really well. I'm losing weight. Told him how much I'd lost. He was really pleased with that. And I said, I'd like to go up to 7.5. And he was quite thorough. And he said, well, how did you get on 2.5? Yeah, fine. How did you get on 5 milligrams? And I said to him, because at the time I thought it was the 5 mil not being as effective, and that's what I told him. I said, you know, you know, it's been fine, but I don't think it's as effective. I'm starting to get that food noise creeping back in. I'd like to go up to 7 milligrams, 7.5. He then said, well, you know, they don't really offer 7.5, which is what the nurse did tell me originally. He said, we only really take patients up to 5 milligrams. We don't take them above that. So he started to dig around in my case a little bit, and he said, well, why are you on Mounjaro? And I said, well, I'm on it for my type 2 diabetes. And he said, and this was a shocker, he said, well, I don't understand why they've put you on it. He said, you don't need to be on Mounjaro for diabetes. And I said, well, I was put on it because my blood glucose levels wasn't where they wanted it to be. He said, he told me my number, and he said, that number is fine. He said, it's absolutely fine. He said, I can see that you have been a lot higher. You go up and down, up and down. He said, but at the time that, you know, the nurse prescribed you, because I had my last blood test in the August is what I can't remember when I had the last one, but he was looking at my blood results from August, and he said the August results show that you're fine, you're okay, you're within the range. And he said, if it was down to me, I wouldn't have prescribed that for you. Well, you can just imagine my total confusion. And I said, well, are you sure? Because when I spoke to the nurse, and she then spoke to the consultant or the doctor, I think she had to go one level up. They were saying, yeah, you know, good idea, let's get her on it. But you're now saying, as the pharmacist, you're now saying, I don't need to be on it. So he said, yeah. He said, I wouldn't have put you on it. He said, so I don't understand why they've put you on it. I says, well, you just have to read the notes. He said, well, because the 5 milligram has been working for me, he said, I'd really be thinking about weaning you off it and going back down to the 2.5. He said, but if you're doing it for weight, he said, and that's if you're doing it for diabetes. He said, if you're doing it for weight loss, then he said, I suppose we could keep you on it, but not for much longer. He said, I can possibly take you up to 7.5 if it's for weight loss. And at this point I was really confused, and even more so by what he said. He said that what they're after is to see a 10% reduction of my HbA1c after being on Mounjaro for about a year. He said, so if at the rate that I'm going, I'm going to be extremely low. I'm going to be right at the lowest end, even lower than pre-diabetics. And he said, that's not going to be good for you. So I was like, I'm really confused. So basically he's saying, one, I shouldn't have been on it for diabetes, and two, at the rate that I'm losing weight, it's predicted that I'm going to be 10% below my current HbA1c, and I'm going to be lower than a pre-diabetic, and that's not good for me. So I just said to him, look, can I just not have a blood test? And the blood test is going to just show exactly where I'm at. He said, well, I wouldn't want to do a blood test now. He said, I'd rather do one at 6 months. I said, well, why is that? He said, that's going to give me a much bigger and fuller picture. I said, okay. He said, so we'll do your bloods at 6 months, and we'll see where your HbA1c is. But if you're doing it for weight loss, I can put you up to 7.5. Even though we're not supposed to, I can do that. Well, I was just like, okay. So he said, I've just started my third box of 2.5. What am I saying? I've just started my third box of my third pen of 5 milligram. Okay, I've just started that. I was on 2.5, which you can see there, 2.5 for 1 month, and then 5 milligrams for 2 months, and I've just started my third box of 5 milligrams. Have I said that right? Yeah. So he said, finish that pen, finish that box of 5 milligram. And so I will have had 3 boxes of 5 milligram. And he said, then when I come to put in my prescription, my next prescription, it'll be 7.5 milligram. I said, okay, I'll do that and see how we go. And then he said, it'll keep me on that for another 3 months. And then at that point, they will do my HbA1c. So I was like, okay, you're the pharmacist. I just felt really confused, really confused, because my diabetic nurse and her senior, which I'm assuming is the consultant, because she mentioned the consult to me, have both agreed I can be on Mounjaro for my type 2 diabetes. He's now saying I should never have been put on it for diabetes. But if it's for weight loss, I'm okay to be on it. And he's going to take me up to 7.5, even though the practice doesn't issue 7.5 milligram. If you understand that, tell me. Confused. So for now, I'm going to continue as I am. I'm going to continue on the 5 milligram pen with a view of going up to 7.5. He also then questioned me as what I'm doing in terms of putting healthy habits in place, because he said that there is I mean, Mounjaro is fairly new to the market. It's only been around a couple of years. And he's saying that there's a lot of evidence to show that when people come off it, that they are gaining weight. They're putting the weight back on. And he asked me what my intention was, whether I see myself being on it long term or not. I says, no. I says, I don't see me being on it long term. Initially, it was for me to get my blood glucose levels under control. And if it helped me with weight loss, brilliant. I says, that was what I intended, but I don't see me being on it long term. And at some point, I do see myself coming off, obviously with medical advice. And he was like, well, that's good. He said, so what are you doing in terms of, you know, having some healthy habits? I said, well, you know, I didn't tell him I was a weight loss coach and have, you know, lost over 150 pounds and loads of weight before, because I just didn't feel it was appropriate. I just didn't feel comfortable telling him that, because the tone of the conversation. So I just said, you know what, I've got some really good healthy habits in place. You know, I'm focusing on my protein and my fibre, drinking lots of water and move my body as often as I can. You know, I used to suffer with sleep apnea. I'm no longer need a sleep apnea machine. I says, you know, and I'm working on my health. And he was like, that's really, really good. He just said, keep those habits going, because that can really help you to prevent the weight going back on after you have lost it. And I was like, yeah, okay. So, yeah, so that call certainly wasn't what I was expecting. Really wasn't. And I came away feeling quite confused. Yeah, and mystified. I was like, yeah. So really, I'm still waiting for my HbA1c blood test, which he's now saying is going to do at the 6-month point. So I suppose I've just got to wait a bit longer. But I was also really surprised that they put me through to the pharmacist. I was so surprised, because I'm like, surely it should be the doctor or the nurse that is looking after my diabetic health care, not the pharmacist. Anyway, that's what they do. That's what happens. So yeah, there we are, guys. There we are. So that has been my week. On 5 milligram at the moment. I've got another. I've just had my second injection. On 5 milligram at the moment, and then I understand that I'm going to be going up to 7.5, but at this point anything might happen. But yeah, you know, got some healthy habits in place. I got on the scale for weigh day and another pound off, so really pleased with that. It's coming off steady. So I will put my chart up here so you can see my progress. So yeah, just another pound off. So it's coming off nice and steady. And yeah, all is good. I'd love to know, how are you doing on your Mounjaro journey? Are you on Mounjaro? Are you on a weight loss journey? How are you doing? Is Mounjaro something you would consider? Are you on it? Are you thinking of coming off it? Let me know, guys. How are you doing? Let me know. So yeah, guys, that's it for me. That's my update. So yeah, I'm on a journey to grow this channel, guys. So I would love for you to hit that subscribe button and click the notification bell, and come and be part of our community. I do lots of different things on this channel. We're a lifestyle channel. I have my weight loss journey. I do shopping hauls. Come browse with me. I do a little bit of gardening, and do more of that in as the weather picks up. I've got going away in the, you know, shortly we're going up to Scotland, so there's going to be travel vlogs, and I'm documenting my 58th year. I'm 58 shortly, so I'm going to be documenting my 58th year, and I'd love for you to come along on the journey with me, guys. So guys, that's it for me. Whatever you're doing, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you soon. Take care now. Bye.